Good day, students! Welcome back to Cool Series at Schools Learning English Online. For today, I will be teaching the P.5 English grammar. But before we will start, let me hear something from you. How are you today? That's nice to hear. I am very well too. So, let's proceed to our English grammar topic for today. We will be talking about using the simple present. Again, what will be our topic? Very good. Our topic is all about using the simple present. But before we'll start, I want you to open your book on page 59. Again, open your book on page 59. So, let's go on. Today we will talk about two topics with regards to the usage of simple present. The first one is subject-verb agreement in simple present. And the next one is simple present with frequency adverbs. So, let's start with the first topic. Again, our topic is subject-verb agreement in simple present. Let's define what is subject-verb agreement and what is simple present to further understand the things that we're going to talk about today. Start. Subject-verb agreement. When we talk about subject-verb agreement, this is set of rules where the subject and verb must agree in number. Okay? Today we will talk about set of rules where the subject and the verb must agree in number. That's why we call it subject-verb agreement, because the subject and the verb should agree with each other's number. So, we'll have simple present. Simple present is a verb tense used to talk about conditions or actions happening right now or habitual actions and occurrences. So, can you read it once more for me? Is very good. So, now we'll have the rule number 1 of the subject-verb agreement in the simple present. By the way, class, there are lots of rules when you talk about subject-verb agreement in simple present. But today we will talk about the basic and most commonly applied rules when we talk about simple present. So, let's start with the rule number 1. Rule number 1 says, singular subject will have verb plus s or es. Again, what should be there when there is singular subject? There should be verb, or the verb in the sentence must have s or es. Let's have the example after the rule number 2 so that we can compare the rule number 1 and rule number 2. So, let's have rule number 2. Rule number 2 says, plural subject will have base form of the verb. Again, if you have plural subject, what should be the verb? Very good. The base form of the verb. And when we say base form of the verb, you should always remember that it should not bear s, it should not bear es or ed, just the simple form of the verb, the base form of the verb. So, let's have the example. We have Jessica writes the answer on the book. Again, Jessica writes the answer on the book. So, we have Jessica as the subject. Jessica, is it singular or plural? Very good. It is singular. So, we have the verb writes. And remember, it has S from the base form of the verb write. Okay, so it has S. Next, Mary and Jessa write the answer on the book. Again, Mary and Jessa write the answer on the book. Now, our subject in this sentence is Mary and Jessa. There are two persons that we're talking in this sentence. So, as what you can see, the verb in the sentence doesn't have any S. Because if, as rule number 2 says, plural subject will have base form of the verb. And when we talk about base form of the verb, no S, no ES, no ED. You understand? That's nice. So now, let's move on to rule number 3. Rule number 3 says that singular subject will have verb plus S or ES, right? Same with rule number 1. But we have here verbs ending in Y. Again, what is the letter? Very good. Verbs ending in letter Y. This is what you're going to do. Change Y to I, then add ES. Okay, again, singular subject will have verb plus S or ES, right? As the rule number 1 says. But remember this, the underlined rule. Verbs ending in Y. Change Y to I, and then you are going to add, very good, ES. We have here the example. The bird flies very fast. Where is our subject? Our subject is the bird. That's why our verb is flies. How many birds is there? Okay, there is only one bird. So, what is the rule number 3 says? Verb ending in Y. Change Y to I, then add ES. So, our verb here is from the word fly. So, since fly is ending in Y, it becomes flies. We will omit the Y, and then we are going to add ES. We have another example. The baby cries very loud. Again, the baby cries very loud. So where is the verb? Very good. Our verb there is the word cries. There is only one baby. So the verb must have IES. From the word cry, we will change Y to I and then add ES. So it becomes cries. Next, Jennifer fries the chicken for lunch. Again, Jennifer fries the chicken for lunch. How many subject do we have in this sentence? Very good. Only one. Jennifer. So, the verb there is the word fries. Now, what is the base form of the word fries? Very good. It is from the word fry. And since our subject is only one, rule number 3 says singular subject. And if it has verb ending in Y, we are going to change Y to I and then add ES. That's why it becomes fries. So, we already talked about the 3 rules in subject-verb agreement with regards to the simple present. This time, we are going to answer a sort of test of your understanding. So, we'll have sentence number 1. Julia blank carry. The verb is carry the basket. So what do you think should be the verb in this sentence? Okay, very good. As what rule number 3 says, if your verb ends with Y, you are going to change Y to I and then add ES. Remember, that only applies in having, or that only applies if the sentence has one subject. So in this sentence, the answer should be carries. Next sentence. Yushi and Chloe, the verb is eat the cake. So we have two subjects here. What should be the verb? Very good. The verb should remain eat because, as what rule number 2 says, plural subject. Okay, very good. The verb should be in the base form. Next, number 3. IZ blank sleep too much. IZ blank sleep too much. The verb here is sleep and our subject is IZ. Now, what do you think should be the verb in this sentence? Very good. Rule number 1. Singular subject must have verb plus S. So, our verb is sleep, so we are going to add S. Next, number 4. Marla and Fred blank go to the beach. Marla and Fred blank go to the beach. Now, what is our subject? Very good. Our subject is Marla and Fred. So there are two subjects in this sentence. So what should be the... Okay, very good. The answer should be... Okay, go. What should be the answer? Go, because we have two subjects. So rule number 2, plural subject, base form of the verb. So next, number 5. Jerick blank drink the milk. Jerick blank drink the milk. How many subjects do we have in this sentence? Very good. Only one. The name is Jerick. So, what is the verb? Okay, very good. You identified it really fast. Drink. So, since our subject is only one, what should be the verb in this sentence? Very good. Verb plus S. So, it will become drinks. Now, let's read the sentences. Julia carries the basket. Yushi and Chloe eat the cake. IZ sleeps too much. Marla and Fred go to the beach. Jerick drinks the milk. Okay, so we are finished with the subject-verb agreement. Now, let's proceed to our second topic for today. That is simple present with frequency adverbs. So, a while ago, I already told you what is simple present. Now, this time, we will define what is frequency adverbs. So, we have here the definition of frequency adverbs. Are adverbs that answer the question how often or frequently. Okay? When we talk about how often or how frequently, that means how many times does the subject is doing the action. Again, it answers what question? Very good. How often or how frequently. Okay, so we have here the frequently range. So we have the examples of frequency adverbs. We have always, meaning most of the, always, like every time you do the action. Usually, rarely, sometimes. When we talk about sometimes you do, sometimes you do not. So that is sometimes. Seldom meaning you do it but not that frequent as sometimes. Rarely, not that frequent as seldom. And never means the subject doesn't do the action anyhow. So, we'll have the pattern when we talk about or when we use frequency adverbs in the simple present. Okay, we will start it by the subject, frequency adverb, simple present, and the continuation of your sentence. So, what is that again? What is the pattern? We have first is subject, frequency adverb, simple present verb. Okay, so we have frequency adverbs should be in between, in between the subject and the simple present verb. So we have here the examples. Jenny always cleans her room. Okay, in this sentence class, regardless of any frequency adverbs that we're going to use, we will apply the subject-verb agreement, which means that here, our subject is Jenny, only one, so our simple verb or our simple present verb should be verb plus S. Okay, we have here the frequency adverb, always. Next example. Sheila and Joshua sometimes clean their rooms. Sheila and Joshua sometimes clean their rooms. So now I will ask you, how often Sheila and Joshua clean their rooms? Okay, so very good. The answer is, okay, the frequency adverb, sometimes. We have here, sometimes. So that is the frequency adverb in this sentence. Now notice the verb in this sentence. Okay, the verb is clean. We use the verb clean because we have two subjects. So again, plural subjects, base form of the verb. No S, no ES, and no ED. Okay, next. So, we have the third sentence. Our third sentence is, the kid never cleans the room. So, what do you think is the frequency adverb in this sentence? Very good. The frequency adverb is the word never. Okay, so as what you can notice, we have the subject, the kid. How many kids do we have? One or many? Very good, only one. That's why, as what you can observe, the verb has S. Because rule number one, what does it say? Okay, it says that sentence with singular subject, verb plus S. So we have clean plus S becomes cleans. Now, let's try to test if you really remember what are the frequency adverbs. Okay? We have the sentence, Justin and Ricky always stay at home during the COVID-19 situations. Okay, so we have the answer in this sentence is, okay, always. That's good. Next, number 2. Julia never goes out when it rains. Again, Julia never goes out when it rains. So the answer is, okay, you are really participating. Never. Next, number 3. Jennifer sometimes visits her friend. Jennifer sometimes visits her friends. Okay, so the answer, okay, so the frequency adverb in this sentence is the word sometimes. Let's read again. Justin and Ricky always stay at home during the COVID-19 situations. Next, Julia never goes out when it rains. And Jennifer sometimes visits her friend. Next, number 4. Kia and Ellie often speak in English. Again, what is the sentence number 4? Very good. Kia and Ellie often speak in English. So, we have the frequency adverb in this sentence, often. Okay, so we have here our subject, Kia and Ellie. When we talk about two subjects or more, what should be the verb? Okay, verb is the base form. So we have here speak. No S, no ES, no ED. Okay, now let's have the exercise time. And this time we are going to apply the rule number 1, 2, and 3 in the simple present subject-verb agreement and the rule in using the frequency adverbs in the simple present. So we'll have number 1. Okay, subject should be Lisa. Frequency adverb to use is never. And the verb is watch. Then the continuation is TV. So what should be the answer? Of course, we will start with Lisa. And what comes after the subject? Very good. The frequency adverb. We have never. And what will happen to the verb? We only have one subject. Okay, it will become watches TV. Okay, so next, number 2. We have here the subject, Jay and Henry. Frequency adverb, always. And the verb, cook their food. Now class, remember that in the rule of using frequency adverb, it should come after or in between the verb and the subject. So we have here the subject, Jay and Henry. So after that, we will put the frequency adverb, always. Now we have two subjects here. It is considered as plural. So we are going to use the base form of the word or of the verb cook. And that is cook, and the continuation is their food. Now we will read, Jay and Henry always cook their food. Next, number 3, the dogs as the subject. So our subject is the dogs. And the frequency adverb is usually plus the verb. The verb here is bark. Now our subject is plural, so what will become to the verb? Very good. We should use the base form of the word bark. So it will become the dogs usually bark loudly. Okay, next, number 4. My sister as the subject. Frequency adverb, rarely. Now, the verb there is sing. So, we will put the frequency adverb plus the verb sing will become, very good, sings. And the continuation, her favorite song. My sister rarely sings her favorite song. Next, Matt and Jenny as the subject. Now, the frequency adverb to be used is sometimes. Of course, after the subject, we will use the frequency adverb, sometimes. Now, we have here 2 persons as the subject. What will happen to our verb here? Very good. Use the base form. So, no S, no ES, no ED. It will only be come. And then, the continuation late in class. Matt and Jenny sometimes come late in class. Okay, so now we will answer the exercise 7 from your book. Open your book on page 63. Okay, as what you can see in the diagram there, it shows how frequent Anna, Kenji, Clara, Igor, Sonia, and Sammy drinks tea with lunch. So, let's answer. Number 1. Now, can you see Anna's diagram there? Okay, what should be the answer, or what should be the frequency adverb to be used? That's correct. Always. Next, Kenji blank drinks tea with lunch. What should be the correct frequency adverb there in Kenji's diagram? Very good. It should be usually. Next, how about Clara's diagram there? Can you see it? What should be the frequency adverb to be used? Okay, often. Clara often drinks tea with lunch. Next, how about the diagram of Igor? Okay, very good. Igor sometimes drinks tea with lunch. Next, how about the diagram of Sonia? Trace it up. Okay, very good. Sonia rarely drinks tea with lunch. And the last one, the diagram there of Sammy. Okay. Sammy never drinks tea with lunch because the diagram of Sammy is empty. So, meaning she doesn't do the drinking of tea with lunch. So, never. Okay? Before we will end this class, let's have a review of what you have learned today. So, again, when we talk about subject-verb agreement, it talks about the rules where the subject and the verb must agree in number. And when we talk about simple present, it is a tense of verb used to talk about conditions or actions happening right now, or it can be habitual actions or occurrences. Next. Okay, when we talk about subject-verb agreement in simple present, we have 3 common rules. Rule number 1, if the subject is singular, what are we going to do with the verb? Very good, verb plus S or ES. Now next, rule number 2. Rule number 2 is plural subject will have base form of the verb. We have here the example, Jessica writes the answer on the book. And Mary and Jessa write the answer on the book. So, as what you can see, singular subject, verb plus S. Plural subject, base form of the verb. Okay? So now, let's move to rule number 3. What is the rule number 3? Okay. Verbs ending in Y, you are going to change the Y to I and then add ES. Okay? And that only applies to singular or plural subject. Very good. Singular subject only. So we have here the examples. Bird flies very fast. The fly will become flies because there's only one subject, the bird. Next, the baby cries very loud. That is from the word cry. It becomes cries because the subject is only one. Next, Jennifer fries the chicken for lunch. The verb there is fries. From the word fry. Again, change Y to I and then add, very good, ES. Okay, we're almost done. Now we'll have frequency adverbs. When we talk about frequency adverbs, what is the question that it is answering? Okay, very good. It answers the question, how often or how frequently? Okay, so now we have here the examples. Always, sometimes, and never. And we also have usually, rarely, sometimes, seldom, rarely, and never. When we talk about never, the person or the subject never do the action at all. And 50 sometimes means, sometimes you do it, sometimes not. So it is 50% do and 50% don't. And when we talk about always, meaning all the time you do it or you do the action. The subject do the action. So When we talk about frequency adverb, it should come where? Between, before, or after? Very good. Between the subject and the verb. So we have here the examples. Jenny always cleans her room because Jenny is only one. So verb plus S. Next, Sheila and Joshua sometimes clean. Okay, we have here clean their rooms. Next, and the kid never cleans the room. So our subject here is the kid and our frequency adverb is the word never. So of course, since our subject is only one, the kid, so our verb must have S. So we have here clean becomes cleans. That ends our lesson for today. Are you happy? That's nice to hear. Thank you very much for listening. And I am hoping to see you in my online English class. Thank you and goodbye.